Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming. Today I would like to share with you some findings of my PhD research on the ecology and conservation of small mammals in kerangas forest of Brunei Darussalam. According to Brunei's Vision 2035, by that year, Brunei should be recognized for the accomplishments of its well-educated and highly skilled people, for its high quality of life, and to have a dynamic, sustainable economy. To achieve that vision, the Brunei government has addressed 8 different national strategies ranging from education and environment. And the environment strategy helps to ensure the proper conservation of our natural environment and cultural habitat. Now, before we can talk about what is going to happen in 2035, we must first know what is happening now. According to statistics, the rate of deforestation in Southeast Asia is actually much higher when compared to the rest of the world. And FAO in 2007 stated that between the year 2000 and 2005, there is a net loss of 0.18% of the world's remaining forests. What happened in Borneo? World Wildlife Fund for Nature estimated that the forest cover has actually declined from 75% in the mid-1980s to only 50% in 2005. And without any proper management mitigation measures, by the year 2020, we might not have as much forest as we have now. Now, Brunei, fortunately, have more pristine forests per se. We don't put as much pressure on our forests as our neighboring countries. As you can see from the figures, there was only about 10% difference. However, we do have some environmental problems, as you guys should know. Much of the residential and infrastructure development happens along the coast, and coupled with extensive forest fire, that leads to the degradation or fragmentation of kerangas forests. Kerangas forest is characterized by tall, pole-like trees on sandy soil, and it's only about 0.6% of Brunei forest cover. So what is forest fragmentation actually? Forest fragmentation happens when you have large continuous forests which have been cut down into smaller isolated fragments and separated from each other by hard edges and grassland matrices, leading to a change in the physical and forestic structure of each forest fragment. The topic habitat fragmentation has actually been one of the leading causes of major biodiversity loss in the world. However, not much work has been done in Borneo, in our part of the world. And that leads to my PhD research topic on the effect of habitat fragmentation on the community and molecular ecology of small mammals in kerangas forests. There are 4 major aspects that I focus on in my PhD, and for today I will only look at the first 2. Now, small mammal was chosen as my study tool because it has been shown to be good biological indicators for disturbance. Let's first look at what happened in small mammal community structures in different forests. There are 2 objectives: to examine the small mammal species found and to describe the structure. There are 12 study sites that I focus on. I divide them into undisturbed forests, disturbed forests, and kerangas forest fragments, based on visual observations. I then measure specific vegetation parameters to see if my visual observations is correct. And as you can see, based on Euclidean distance, the sites are divided according to the visual observations, and they are all statistically significant in terms of the vegetation parameters measured. To find out what small mammal species are found in each study site, I set up a 200-meter index line with 3 traps, and any animals caught will be identified, sexed, and weighed, and they will also be euthanized, putting them to sleep. The animals are then marked with permanent markers called transponders, and after that they will be released, because this is a long-term studies that we are doing. So what are the actual effects of habitat fragmentation on small mammal community? To answer that question, I look at 3 different indices. Species richness, as you may know, is how many species are there, how many rats are there, how many squirrels are there. And apart from counting directly, I also estimate by using Chow-2 estimation method. I then divide the species caught into pristine forest species and disturbed forest species. Pristine species are those which are commonly caught in good forests, whereas disturbed forest species are those which are commonly caught in disturbed forests. Some examples here of pristine forest species: and some examples of disturbed forest species. Now, let's talk about this very briefly. We can see that there are more, in total, the number of species, as in blue, in undisturbed and disturbed forests are more than in forest fragment. Whereas if you look at those species which can only be found in good forests, the orange bar, more of them are found in undisturbed forests, logically. If you look at those species which can be found anywhere, especially in disturbed forests, they are of course found mostly in disturbed forests and forest fragments.